Good morning, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Innu, and Dakota peoples, within the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Carrie Linklater, and I am your chairperson this morning. I am joined by a Zoom on the panel by Ms. Diane Knight and Mr. Bill Moretsky. Our city assessor this morning is Mr. Darren Ducharme, and our administrative personnel is Mr. Jaswinder Kumar. We will be hearing applications for revision of the business assessment role in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act and the City of Winnipeg Charter. The matters of which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. Statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the board. The board is appointed annually by City Council and is independent of it and the city administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. And as information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. This morning, we will be hearing items 2, 4, 5, and 7 on the docket. And Mr. Kumar, would you please refer to the assessor and the applicant?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, assessor, please state your full name.
Darren Ducharme.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Oliver's, please state your full name.
Ryan Oliveros.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please sit.
Good morning, Mr. Oliveros and Mr. Ducharme.
Good morning.
And we are going to start off at 2169 Portage Avenue. And Mr. Ducharme, whenever you are ready to begin.
Thank you. We have file number 22-4369. The roll year 2023. The address is 2169 Portage Avenue. The subject's located on the north side of Portage between Sharp Boulevard and Moorgate in the Deer Lodge neighborhood. We have a total annual rental value of $110,940. The total area of the premise, 5,664 square feet. An overall ARV per square foot of $19.59. The subject bid is 5064. It's a dine-in restaurant with a lounge. Below is a breakdown of the annual rental value. It has a base ARV of 1709 per square foot, with occupancy costs arriving at an ARV value of $110,940. The subject lease information, this is the information we received from the 2020 income and expense mailer, stating a recorded area of 5,780 square feet with a recorded rent of $10.38 per square foot. Below that are rent comparables. Most of the comparables are in close proximity to the subject, with several on the same street. The first 3 comparables are also dine-in restaurants similar to the subject. The third comparable has a lounge similar to the subject, and it also has an outdoor patio similar to the subject. The fourth comparable at 2029 Portage is essentially a takeout only. The comparables provided have a mean rent of $19.99 per square foot a median of 1875 per square foot, which is in support of the base rent of 1709 per square foot. Recommendation to confirm the 2023 annual rental value of $110,940. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Oliveros?
No questions, and we are just asking that the board confirm the assessed value for 2169 Portage.
Right, thank you. Ms. Knight, did you have any questions?
I do not, thank you.
And Mr. Moretsky?
Yes, I actually have a question regarding your computations, and I noticed this on the other briefs that we're looking at as well today. The base ARV, this is in the subject bid table. Base ARV and the total occupancy cost do not add up to 110,940. It adds up to 110,957.
Sorry, 110. It adds up to what?
Mr. Moretsky, could you just repeat your question? I don't think the assessor quite heard you.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I just noticed that the computations don't work out on the table subject bid 5064. The base ARV 96,798 plus total occupancy cost 14,160 adds up to 110,958. 958.
Okay.
Not 110,940.
Not sure why that would be.
I think it's because you were trying to target your divided by 12, but didn't adjust your base ARV to reflect that.
Yeah, I mean, when so I print the brief, I just assume everything was, correct. It's nothing that we input, so I'll have to take a look at it.
The same issue is on the other briefs that we're looking at today too.
Okay, I'll have to double check and find out what, in this case, it seems to be higher, but I don't know how the others work out, but I guess you
Well, yeah, they're all kind of in the same area. They're not, they're less than $20, but it's nevertheless.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll definitely escalate it when we get back. I'm not sure, see if we can figure out why that would be.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I just saying I had no explanation for that, why that would be. Like I mentioned, we just we generate the briefs from the system. It's nothing that we input.
Okay. And also on your rent comparables, those reported rent per square foot. So that is the overall rent per square foot, or is it the base rent?
Those are all net rents. Yeah.
Meaning the base or?
Base, yeah.
Yeah. So the occupancy cost would be on top of that then?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have no questions. So we are now going to move on to 1186 Main Street. And Mr. Ducharme.
Thank you. File number is 22-4305, the roll year 2023. The address is 1186 Main Street. Subjects located on the west side of Main Street at the corner of Mountain Avenue to the north and College Avenue to the south in the St. John's neighborhood. The total annual rental value is $235,920. The total area of the all premise is 6,937 square feet. We have an overall ARV per square foot of $34.01. The subject bid is 22765. Below we have the breakdown of the total ARV. Premise ID 17514 at 1186 Main is the fast food portion of the premise. It's 4,463 square feet. has a base ARV per square foot of $38.62 per square foot, giving an annual rental value of $183,540. We have PID 17515 at 1190 Main. It's the office portion of the premise. It's 2,474 square feet. We have a base ARV per square foot of $18.67. With giving an annual rental value of $52,380 for a total of $235,920. We do not have any subject lease information. Below are the rent comparables for both office portion and fast food portion. Both office and fast food comparables are in support of the model rents. The office portions have a mean of $19.82 per square foot, a median of $20 per square foot. The fast foods have a mean rent of $39.78 per square foot and a median rent of $38.62 per square foot. Our recommendation is to confirm the 2023 annual rental value of $235,920. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Oliveris.
No questions. Then we are also asking for a confirmation of 1186 Main Street as well.
Thank you. Ms. Knight, did you have any questions in regard to this information?
I do not, thank you.
And Mr. Moretsky?
I do not, thank you.
Also have no questions. We'll proceed to 187 Main Street, or 1847 Main Street, excuse me. And Mr. Ducharme, the floor is yours.
Thank you. File number is 22-4225. The roll year is 2023. The address is 1847 Main Street. Subjects located on the east side of Main Street with Burns Avenue to the north and Semple Avenue to the south. It's a two-story building and is located in West Kildonan. The total annual rental value is $47,760. The total area of all premises is 4,061 square feet. The overall ARV per square foot is $11.76. The subject bid is 7355. Below is the breakdown of the annual rental value. Premise ID 9480 is the main floor. It is 3,061 square feet. We have a base ARV per square foot of $9.02. Adding the occupancy cost gives an annual rental value of $35,280. Premise ID 34405. Also at 1847 Main is the second floor. It's 1,000 square feet, has a base ARV per square foot of $997, plus the occupancy costs gives an annual rental value of $12,480 for a total of $47,760. There is no subject lease information. Below that, we have the rent comparables. The comparables are in relatively close proximity to the subject. All comparables are the same parcel use zoning as the subject. The first floor comparables provided are main floor rents, which have a mean of $12.37 per square foot, a median of $11.28, both in support of the model at $9.02 per square foot. And the last two comparables are second floor rents. And our recommendation is confirm the 2023 annual rental value of $47,760. And that ends my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Oliveris?
Yes, I do have a few questions. Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Ducharme, so in reviewing your evidence here, the second floor, that's the 1,000 square feet as you've stated, correct?
Yes.
And are you aware that the second floor has no elevator access?
Yes. Well, I'm aware, yes.
Okay. Do you find it atypical that the model has applied a higher rent per square foot to the second floor space than it has to the main floor space?
No.
No. Isn't it typical when you do have a second floor space with no elevator access that I think it would be more likely that the per square foot rate should be lower? Wouldn't you agree with that?
We have to keep in mind the second floor area is a lot smaller. I have no objections to elevator, like not having an elevator being less desirable. But we have to keep in mind that the second floor premise is smaller in size.
looking at your comparables here, 755 Henderson, are you aware that that has elevator access?
Yes, I do. I understand it does have an elevator, yes.
33 Phillips, do you know if that has elevator access?
It does not.
Okay, those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Knight, questions?
I do not have any questions. Thank you.
Mr. Maretsky?
No, I do not have any questions. Thank you.
I just have one. This is all model driven, Mr. Ducharme. We didn't make any adjustments.
Correct. All model driven, yes.
All right. I thank you. Mr. Oliveris, if you'd like to give us your brief.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay, so the subject premise is 1847 Main Street. The roll number is 7355, file number 22-4225. We're asking the board to reduce the 2023 business assessment for the subject from $47,760 to $44,760. I provided a aerial photo of the subject on page 5 of my evidence, as well as some interior shots of the main floor that we had back from 2014 of the subject premise. And that's starting on pages 6 to 7 of my evidence. So going on to my analysis here, we're not disputing the premise area that the model has applied here, 4,061 square feet. For the main floor space, we don't contest the main floor rent that has been applied of $9.02 a square foot. We are, however, disputing the rent that has been applied to the second floor space of $9.97 a square foot. So in looking at my comparables here, these are all retail comparables. They are within different sections of the city, so I do recognize that. They range in age from 1956 to 1982. Leasable areas ranging from 1,500 square feet to 2,221 square feet. And the rents range from $8.25 per square foot to $12.50 per square foot. We have an average of $10.60 a square foot for the lease comparables and a median of $10.11. So looking at these comparables, you can see here the reason as to why we're not disputing the main floor rents. It's in line with the comparables that we have identified. So again, we're going to be applying that rent of $9.02 per square foot in our valuation. However, for the second floor space, now we find it atypical that a rate per square foot, even though the size of the space is smaller than the main floor space, typically, even when it comes to in those circumstances, at least my experience has been, and I've seen this time and time again, that for second floor spaces with no elevator access, typically lower rates per square foot have been applied to those types of spaces. Furthermore, I believe that the just looking at the description of the property, it's more so sort of used as a warehouse and storage space for the second floor. Or sorry, for the portion built in 2005, which includes the second floor. So I've also attached a municipal board order, that's A-05-171, where the municipal board has applied that same logic, where a second floor or an upper floor space without elevator access, they have historically applied a rate per square foot that is lower than the main floor space. Again, but I do respect that the Board of Revision is not obligated to follow municipal board orders, but that is there for your review. So based on this rationale, we're applying a rate of $7 per square foot to the second floor space. And that brings us to an overall rent per year of $34,610, or $8.52 per square foot. If we go into page 10 of my evidence here, that's just a summary of our valuation here. We're not disputing the occupancy costs that have been applied by the city here. So we arrive at a total ARV unrounded of $44,763. I understand that this question was asked previously during the assessor's questioning period here, but the reason why the reason why the final value is rounded to $44,760 is because we typically round to the nearest 5, and I believe that is purely an administrative process on the city's end of the spectrum here, and we apply that same methodology when we come to our final value in our valuation. So again, we're asking the board to reduce the 2023 business assessment for the subject premise from $47,760 to $44,760. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just reiterate, Mr. Oliveris, that the board does not consider previous municipal board decisions, but thank you.
Yes, and I do acknowledge that. Thank you, Ms. Linklater.
Thank you. Mr. Ducharme, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I think just one, I mean, I don't disagree with the second floor space with no elevator being less desirable, but I see no market evidence provided to suggest what the second floor space without an elevator would yield. I'm wondering why you chose $7, maybe not $8.50 or even $8 per square foot.
Yeah, that's just based on experience. So these rents that I've provided here, they are all essentially main floor spaces here. And I believe that there was one, or no, they are all main floor spaces. And as I've stated in my presentation, it's been through my experience that typically for upper floor spaces with no elevator access, that they typically lease out for a lower rate per square foot. I mean, without an elevator, it'd be hard for the second floor space to really exist without elevator access. So, or not for it to exist, but it'd be much more difficult to lease out to a potential tenant without that elevator, given the accessibility issues that it would cause.
I think that's all I have for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Knight, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. So you attached pictures of the main floor. Do you have pictures of the second floor?
Unfortunately not. These were just from previous historical files, and I did not have the chance to inspect the subject myself to take photos of the second floor space.
So you don't know what's on the second floor, if it's offices or what it is at all? Because the main floor here looks like it's all storage.
Yeah, and from my understanding, the that 2005 edition, which includes that second floor space, it's really just it's being used as warehouse and storage space as well.
Okay, and then on your comparables, none of these have a second floor at all?
None of these have a second floor. No, it's tough to find lease comparables with no elevator access. I searched through our data, our lease data spreadsheet, and I was not able to find any lease comparables with no elevator access. Typically, if you do have a second floor space without elevator access, is probably an owner occupied building, such as the subject.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I should say that the subject premises owner occupied. I believe that is actually leased out, so might have had an oversight on my end on that.
I'm sorry, you're saying the second floor is leased out?
Yeah. I don't know, I think I just put two and two together here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so we actually don't have the income and expense mailer, which is why I wasn't able to determine what the lease rate is for that. And I must have gotten confused with the Don's Photoshop. That's next door to it.
Okay.
Because they are the same owner.
Okay. Ms. Knight, did you have any further questions?
I do not, thank you.
Mr. Moradsky?
Yes, I'll be right with you here. So, you said that there was a previous decision made. Was that your municipal board decision?
Yes, there was a previous decision that was made at the Manitoba Municipal Board for second floor space here, and I have attached it to my evidence, and it's starting on page. And it is starting on page 15 of my evidence. Basically, we've applied the same logic that the municipal board has there, and it's starting on page. Let's see here, page 19 of my evidence. They explain that because for second floor, for upper floor spaces within well elevator access, they have come to the decision that a lower rate per square foot should typically be applied for those types of spaces.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. So, Mr. Levins, just want to get some clarification. The second floor is leased out or is it not leased out?
Yeah, so looking at the photo that I have of the subject premise, I am making the assumption that it is leased out. Because the owner of this subject is Don's Photoshop. Don's Photoshop is actually the property that is next door to the subject. We could see from the photo here that it looks like the tenant here is called LabWorks. I don't see, and so I'm making the assumption that a Photoshop and a lab probably would not be related. Would not be related to one another. But unfortunately, I don't have the 2020 income and expense mailer to confirm that.
Okay, thank you. Did either of you have a wish for a summation on this property?
I do not.
Mr. Dushan? Mr.
No summation.
Thank you. We will move on to the last property, which is 1000 McPhillips. Mr. Dushan, whenever you're ready to proceed.
Thank you. We have file number 22-4735, the whole year 2023. The address is 1000 McPhillips. The subject's located at the corner of Mountain Avenue to the north and College Avenue to the south, and it's located in the Shaughnessy Park neighborhood. The total annual rental value is $117,960. The total area of the premise is 8,942 square feet. The overall ARV per square foot is $13.19. The subject bid 33673. The subject's a grocery store specializing in ethnic products. Below we see a breakdown of the annual rental value with a base ARV of $10.81 per square foot. Adding the occupancy cost, we have an annual rental value of $117,960. The subject lease information, the subject property reported on the 2020 income and expense mailer submitted. A reported rent per square foot of $13.42 per square foot, which you'll note is above our model rate at $10.81 per square foot. Below this, we have our rent comparables. Comparable 1 at 397 Williams, about 5 kilometers away. It is most similar to the subject in that it is also a grocery store specializing in ethnic products. It sells fresh, refrigerated and frozen, and has frozen sections as well. It is fairly similar in area to the subject size, although a little bit larger at 11,443 square feet. Comparable 2 at 1529 Gateway is about 11 kilometers away. It's also a grocery store. It sells fresh, refrigerated and frozen products as well, and is in similar size in area. Comparable 3 is about 5 kilometers away. It's a liquor store. It's somewhat similar in size. Comparable 4 is about 6 kilometers away. It's an automotive retailer. It's somewhat similar in size, although less at 7,001 square feet. And comparable 5 at 930 Nairn, a general merchandise store about 8 kilometers from the subject. This one is noticeably larger at 14,517 square feet. Comparables provided have a mean rent of $11.49 per square foot, a median of $11.50 per square foot, which is in support of the model rent at $10.81 per square foot. Our recommendations to confirm the 2023 annual rental value of $117,960. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, Mr. Olivers?
I don't have any questions, but I do have a rebuttal
All
to
right.
go through, and I believe that would come after the questioning period.
Yes. Thank you. Ms. Knight, questions?
I do not, thank you.
Mr. Moretsky?
I do not, thank you.
I just have one question. The 397 William Avenue under your rent comparables, you said that was your best one or the most?
Well, it's, yeah, I mean, in a sense, it's only 5 kilometers away. It's, you know, along with the one on Alice, maybe is the closest. It's the most, it's essentially the same. Like it's essentially the same store. Yeah, it sells ethnic products as does the subject. In fact, it might be a similar ownership. I'm not certain of that, but
So it's not a chain grocery store then?
no,
No.
no, it's not a chain grocery store. No.
All right. I thank you. That's all my questions. Mr. Oliveris, if you would like to proceed with your brief.
Okay, should I go through my rebuttal first, Madam Chair?
No, if you can proceed with your brief and then we'll hear a rebuttal at the end.
Okay, for sure, sounds good. Okay, so the subject premise is at 1000 Phillip Street. The roll number is 33673. File number 22-4735. Going on to page 2 of my evidence here, we're asking the board to reduce the 2023 business assessment from $117,690 to $106,260. The assessor has already described the subject premise accurately here, so I won't go through my description on page 4. There is an aerial photo for your review, however. So going on to page 5 of my evidence here, we're applying the same premise area as the assessor of 8,942 square feet. However, we are disputing the rent that is in place. So we've identified the following 5 comparables here. The range in size from 14,375 square feet to 57,312 square feet. And the rents range from $7.20 a square foot to $14 per square foot. And these rents are consistent with the rents that we applied or we observed for the 2023 realty assessment. So based on these rents, we are continuing to apply a rent of $9.50 per square foot to the subject premise. And applying that rate, going on to page 6 of my evidence, we don't dispute the occupancy costs that the model has applied. And we arrive at a total ARV of $106,260. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ducharme?
Yes, I have questions. Thank you. The subject property has a leasable area of 8,942 square feet, correct?
That's correct.
So I know your comparables range from a minimum of 20,500 square feet to a maximum of 57,312 square feet. Would you agree these are significantly larger, in fact, more than 2 times to 6 times greater than the subject?
I agree with that. Yeah. So the leasable areas actually range from 14,375 to 57,312, but you are correct that they are significantly larger. And I just had to stay consistent with our 2023 realty assessment observations here.
Okay. Would you agree that in determining the annual rental value premise, a key determination should be a similarity in size?
I would agree with that. Yes.
Are any of the comparables relatively close proximity to the subject, like within 10 kilometers?
I wouldn't know the exact distance, but in looking at these, they do seem to be sort of further apart from one another.
Are these chain stores?
I believe they are. Yes, they are.
No question. No further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Knight, questions?
My questions were just asked and answered. Thank you.
Mr. Moretsky?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Just one quick question, Mr. Oliveras. As Mr. Ducharme had pointed out, your comparables are much larger than the subject property. So given that, would the economy of scales not be an issue in terms of the amount of rent?
I believe it would be, yes.
I thank you. That's all my questions. And I believe you have rebuttal.
I do, yes. Thank you,
Madam Chair, I have to grab a printed copy from Mr. Duchamp.
Oh, all right. We'll just go offline for a minute.
Okay, yeah. Good.
We're just going to take a short 2-minute recess at this time. I would like to call this meeting back to order. I believe, Mr. Oliveras, you have some rebuttal for us.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So I assume we all have the document open here. So I just flipping onto on page 2 of my rebuttal evidence here, the lease comp that the city has provided for 397 William Avenue. We can see that on their 2020 income and expense mailer that they did check off that the property is fully owner occupied. I've also submitted the owner page here on page 3 of my evidence. It states here it's YTC Enterprises Limited, and we can see that the mailing address is 397 William Avenue. Now the occupant of the subject premise, I understand, is Young's Trading Company. I have visited these properties a number of times, just through personal through personal errands, and I can say yes that it is Young's, and we can see here that YTC likely stands for Young's Trading Company. So based off of this, I don't think we should be considering the lease for 397 William Avenue as being at market. The assessor on his brief also provided a lease for the subject premise itself, but we can see on page 4 of my rebuttal evidence that they have also checked off that the subject premise is owner occupied and that the owner is YTC Enterprises, with the mailing address being 397 William. So we don't believe that the lease in place for the subject premise as well is we don't believe that the lease in place for the subject premise should be considered at market. And that concludes my rebuttal presentation.
Thank you. Questions, Mr. Ducharme?
No questions.
Ms. Knight, questions?
I do not. Thank you.
Mr. Moretsky?
I do not. Thank you.
I also have no questions in this regard. And we have heard, do you have a wish for summation on this property?
No summation.
All right,
Thank you.
We have heard all the items on the docket this morning, and this hearing is adjourned. And I thank you, Mr. Ducharme and Mr. Oliveras, for your time, patience, and briefs.